Welcome back to Bruins Game Reactions. Boston Bruins win 3-1 over the Buffalo Sabres. Empty net goal, 2-1. They were asleep at the wheel for the first 50 minutes of this one. Got a lucky one against James Reimer, who I had no idea was on Buffalo. Gonna be honest, I didn't realize he was still in this league. Good for him, though. I mean, he's making a long career for himself. Hey, get your money, man. That's all I can really say. They were asleep. They got a lucky one with Charlie Coyle. Arguably could have been 4-1. Not even arguably. There was a goal that Morgan Geekie scored that got called back. So, call that 4-1 if you want. Jonas Korpisalo. Oh my god. He played his brain off today. You're going to look at the shot counter. It's going to say 20 for Buffalo. Oh, well, that's not that bad. That's what a great goalie should do. No, these saves he was making were 10 bell after 10 bell. He is the reason that they won this game. Straight up, that's it. I don't know what to say, really. Should have probably won by a bit more than 2. You got Washington Monday. I'm going to be honest, I'm going to expect a loss there. You've got the best offensive team in almost every metric coming in, and yeah, if you got a point out of that one, I'd be happy. If not, I'm not going to be surprised. Oliver Wahlstrom looked good. And yeah, that's kind of it, really. So, let's just get right into the first period. First period kicks off. Wow, Buffalo is not messing around. They come out of the gate hot. Boston has a real hard time keeping up with them. But, and unfortunately, eventually that leads to a penalty for Boston. Had a bit of a hard time clearing the zone. I think only cleared the zone about twice. Most of that time was spent in the defensive zone, unfortunately. Right as the penalty expires, Boston's taking the puck up the ice. Charlie Coyle's there. He drew the penalty. It was a fair one, I'll be honest. Takes the puck right from the blue line, takes it in, and just barely gets it past James Reimer, who, I'm going to be honest, completely missed when Buffalo acquired him. Don't know when, how, whenever. Apparently, he's on Buffalo now. But moving on, we head out of the first. Boston is down about 8-6 to shots. And, Boston's very lucky that Korpisalo has decided to stand on his brain today. And to come out of the first period only up 1. Because realistically, this team should be down 1, if not down 2. But that's what happens when you have a good enough goalie tandem. They're able to support you when you need it. And then heading into the second period, at this point, you're just looking for a bounce back. Just looking for something. Trying to see if you have a pulse outside of that one goal. And not really, unfortunately. You head out of the second down 14-11 in shots. So once again, relatively even. But Buffalo ties it on the power play, unfortunately. Boston had 2 power play opportunities. Came very close on each one of them on a couple of occasions. Just couldn't quite bury one. And, yeah, Buffalo had one, and they capitalized in the second period. Unfortunately, that's what happens when you play a team with 12 losses in a row. They're obviously going to start playing a bit harder, trying to get back in these games. Heading into the third period, you need a wake-up call. Korpisalo has kept you in it. You should arguably be down 3, if not 4 at this point. help your goalie out, man. If you don't want to win this for yourselves, win it for your goalie. Easiest way to do that, come out of the gate hot, get one early. And then don't do what you did in Edmonton and play on your heels. Put the foot on the gas and don't let up. You have a very good opportunity here to get 2 easy points, easy, in air quotes, points in the standings. And, yeah, don't mess this up. Go out there and get them. So, going to head into the third period, tied up at 1s. Buffalo currently outshoots Boston 14-11. Third period kicks off, and it's overall really a fairly back and forth, even period for about the first 6-7 minutes. Each team had about 3 shots, and then Boston just kind of took over offensively, not getting shots, but keeping Buffalo hemmed in their own zone. Not great when, obviously, you're looking for a goal there. But that goal eventually comes. Morgan Geekie comes down the pipe, and Owen Power just kind of gives up the blue line way too easily, in my opinion. And, yeah, he rips it home from the top of the dot. Cool. So you're up 2-1, and coach's challenge. Right away I could tell that goal was coming back. I'm going to be honest, I don't know the offside rule. I would love to know someone who does, and who can definitively say 100% whether a goal is coming back or not. I have yet to meet that person, just because of the way the NHL is. That David Pastrnak was a good 3 feet offside, unfortunately. Didn't affect the play. And it's one of those goals that get called back that you hate to see. Just because it's okay, well, he didn't affect the play at all. Why does it matter? It matters because what if, unfortunately. And then that seemed to be a big wake-up call for Boston. Started getting a few more shots on goal. Actually, held Buffalo quiet in the third period. Just had those 3 shots on goal. Shots ended up 20-14 at the end of it. 20-19 at the end of it. So Boston really crawled back in the third period. Overall, though, that third period was honestly not... That's what the first 2 should have been. Because if that was what the first 2 were, then you're in relax mode for the final 10 minutes of this game. But because they weren't, unfortunately, now you gotta go out there and get a goal. And that's exactly what they do. Owen... I keep calling him Owen. I'm pretty sure it's Owen Wallstrom. Draws a 2-minute minor for tripping. It was tripping. It's about as simple as that. And at 1 minute 59 seconds, Morgan Geekie gets his revenge. And from, quite honestly, a beautiful feed from David Pastrnak. And rips it home from the low point. Just above the hash marks. Oh boy, that was a slapper and a half, or one-timer, sorry. Yeah, obviously last second on the power play. I want to say it was Samuelson, took down, I think it was either Coyle or Marchand, and that ended up taking out James Reimer's leg, causing him to not be able to make that stop. I do think he does make that stop if that doesn't happen, but because it was the Buffalo player that created the contact, goal stands, and we move on. Now, should that goal stand? I believe it should. But there was also a game, I want to say last week. I think it was Anaheim and Columbus. Troy Terry scored and then ran the goalie accidentally in a kind of very similar situation. Gets taken down by the Columbus player, slides into the goalie. It gets called a good goal. There's also a penalty on the play for goalie interference. I don't get that personally. But I mean, that goal stood. This goal stood. Beautiful. So, minute 45 left. Lock it down. And for the most part, that's what they did. Obviously, minute 45, down by 1, James Reimer comes out. Brad Marchand gets the empty net goal. And that's going to be all she wrote for this one. Oh boy. Overall, I mean, it's Buffalo. You want to play better against them, to be honest. Kind of played down to your opponent for the first 50 minutes of this game, really. And then just kind of took over in the final 10 to 12 minutes, really. Toronto is currently down 2 right now, I believe, with about 5 minutes left in the third. I could be wrong there. Obviously, as well, Buffalo on the second half of back-to-back. Only a 2-goal win, you'd expect a bit more. That looks like that's going to be 2 points in the standings, creeping up on Toronto. Obviously, you still got Florida in the way. I think they will pass in due time. And, you get the weirdly dominant Washington Capitals. They're top 10, if not top 3, in most every offensive stat. They showed it on the broadcast. They're like second in goals for, 6th, I think, in goals against average. First in goal differential at plus 37. Like, these guys are weirdly good offensively for Alex Ovechkin being out for the next 4 to 6 weeks. Or when he was out the next 4 to 6. And, they've already confirmed there will be no Alex Ovechkin in this one on Monday. And, Oliver Wahlstrom looked pretty good in this one, to be honest. Obviously drew the call that won them the game. So that's obviously a good thing. He was on the second power play unit. I didn't quite see who got off for that unit, because I'm going to be honest, the second power play unit did not play a whole lot this one. But, I mean, 2 points is 2 points. You got one more game, then everyone can go home, see their families, and regroup. Morgan Geekie and Brad Marchand have both been on fire. Geekie has three goals in his past 4 games. Marchand is on a 9-game point streak. Very happy I have him in fantasy. And that's going to do it for this one. Thank you all so much for watching. Click like if you like. Click subscribe if you enjoyed. That's going to do it. Have a good one. Happy holidays.